Hello and welcome again to your weekly DreamSport video. As always, you are joined by me, Andy, FPL TeachMode, and we are going to be looking at the NFL Week 8 Sunday Redzone competition on DreamSport. There is a way for you to win. I think it's about 1,000 coins that you can win for the prize pool, which is quite nice. So without any further ado, let's have a look. So if I click on play here, and we'll just have a look at the fixtures because we always have a look at the fixtures first, just to give ourselves a bit of an idea as to what we think is going to happen. So, Falcons at Panthers, I think is going to be quite a low-scoring game. Personally, I fancy the Falcons to probably win that game. Someone like Calvin Ridley, I'm waiting to have a bit of a blow-up game, and it hasn't really happened yet. But I do quite like Cordarrelle Patterson in this game because he's getting some great volume, and obviously he plays running back and wide receiver, so it's quite a good one to have in there. Bills, Dolphins, I think you've got to look at the Bills to win that game and probably be quite a comprehensive win as well. Josh Allen is going to be very expensive in this game, I would have thought, this week. But someone like Stephon Diggs or Zach Moss as well could do quite well this week. Moss and Singletary are the running backs that do tend to share work, but Zach Moss seems to be the guy they like on the goal line. So Zach Moss is somebody that, especially if he's cheaper, he's somebody that I could look to be getting into my teams as a bit of an enabler. Bears versus 49ers. Don't like a lot of these players. I think it's going to be quite low scoring, probably under 40 points. I do like Khalil Herbert still. I think he's shown a lot of talent since he's come in, since Demont has been not fit and not able to play. So I think Khalil Herbert, if he's cheap enough, is somebody you can look at. Cleveland Browns versus Pittsburgh Steelers. I think you'd fancy the Browns to win over the Steelers because they're a bit hapless at the moment. Nick Chubb is somebody that you can definitely put into your lineups with quite a lot of confidence. I feel like, I think it was D'Ernest Johnson came in last week and killed it for the Browns, and you can see how important their running game is. So now Chubb is back. I mean, he's an elite back, so I feel like he is somebody that you can get into your teams and be quite confident with. Lions at Eagles. I really, really like the Eagles in this one. I feel like Hurts is somebody we can get into our teams and we can be quite happy with, and I do like his partnership with Goddard as well. So Hurts and Goddard I'm going to be looking to get in because they're not going to be the most expensive players, but they're people that I think can match those most expensive players this week. So Hurts and Goddard are well up on my list. Texans, Rams, dear God. I mean, Texans, you just need to target every single week. It does mean the Rams players are going to be expensive, but they are definitely making up for their expensiveness. Their expensiveness, dear me. So Stafford, I think you have to look at. Darrell Henderson, you have to look at. Cup, you have to look at as well. I think those three, even though they're going to be expensive and they're going to be costly, I think you have to still look at them anyway, especially Cup and especially Stafford. Colts versus Titans, I think you fancy the Titans. I mean, Derrick Henry, you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody that would bet against Derrick Henry at the moment. He's somebody that is just killing it pretty much every week. Even when he has an off week, he's getting a touchdown and around about 50 to 100 yards. So he is somebody that you can look at to potentially get you 150, 200 yards in a week and get you multiple touchdowns. So he is somebody you have to look at. Jonathan Taylor, though, I do like him this week as well. For the Titans, A.J. Brown's starting to come back, and he is somebody you could maybe look to get in your teams. And then you've got Jets versus Bengals. Now, I fancy the Bengals to destroy the Jets this week. The problem is, if teams go out and destroy other teams, they start to run the ball more and they start to maybe bench players as well. So someone like Joe Burrow, if they're 30 points up going into the fourth quarter, he's going to be benched. So I'm looking at this game and thinking I might probably target the running game a little bit more. So Joe Mixon, even Samaje Perine could be somebody you get in and think he could get you between 50 and 100 yards and a touchdown. They blitzed the Ravens last week on the ground. So that is somebody I'm looking at, but I'm just wary of that game. That could be a bit of a blowout personally. So let's have a look and see what kind of players we can get in. Now, I said straight away the value players that I love this week. So let's put these players in. One of the first players I said I really liked this week was Jalen Hurt. So I'm going to get Jalen Hurts in straight away. Kills it in fantasy. He's not so good in real life, and he seems to be getting a lot of his touchdowns from rushing and also garbage time points as well. But doesn't matter in fantasy. He's killing it in fantasy, so we'll get him in there. And as a nice little double up there, I'm going to go with Goddard as well. I feel like Goddard against the Lions could be quite a good play. And he's only 11.9 million, which is quite nice, I feel. Now, the other player I said I wanted as well, I want Mixon. I feel like Mixon is somebody that you have to have this week against the Jets. And I did like Cordarrelle Patterson too. I also like Nick Chubb. They're all around that 16 million mark, which I really like. When you think Derrick Henry is 20 million, yes, Derrick Henry is going to get you the yardage and he's going to get the usage, but you need to guarantee that he's getting it for 20 odd million. I mean, yes, he's one of those players that will definitely do it. But now, the other player I liked, wasn't it, was Zach Moss. I feel like Zach Moss for 11 million is quite good value, really. So I don't like putting too many enablers in there, but I'm going to be putting him in there, I think. Now, if we have a look at wide receiver, I mean, Cooper Kupp, 22 million. It's hard to say he's worth that money, but to be fair, he is absolutely killing it this year. Jamar Chase as well, 17.8 million. That's not bad to go with. I really like Deontay Johnson this week. I feel like he's somebody that you can get a lot of value from. And then as you look down, I'm struggling a little bit with these cheaper wide receivers this week. It could be one where you go a little bit, maybe we only have the 2 running backs and we go for, let's have a look. Maybe we go for AJ Brown and Jamar Chase and see what happens with our budget, but it's going to struggle a little bit. Let's just see how we can do. So, D's, I think, Rams against the Texans, 10.4 million. That's not bad. How many more players do we have? Oh, we only had 2 more players. We might be able to do okay here. Rams, I think, are going to do well against the Texans. You know, they're going to be struggling, aren't they? Dolphins, 2 is back. So Bills, yeah, we'll see. The Jets against Bengals, I think that's the way I'm going to go. The Jets are going to be playing right at quarterback because Flacco didn't sign him in time because Wilson is out. So, there's going to be interceptions galore in that game, I would have thought. So I'm going to go with those. And then I've got 12.1 million left. Now, I don't think there's any running backs I want for 12 million. Gaskin, meh. Mitchell, meh. Carter, meh. Don't really want Singletary and Moss. So I'm struggling on running backs there. Wide receivers. Yeah, look, we're going on to the second page. You know it's bad when you go on to the second page. Landry, Beckham, Robinson. He's not done it this year at all, has he? Anderson, Raymond. Yeah, we're looking at these players and just hoping for touchdowns, really. Van Jefferson's not a bad play, but it does get spread out there. And I think Cooper Kupp's going to take up so much of it. So let's have a look at tight end. Oh, it's a shame. We could get Gesicki. It's not a bad play. Higbee's not a bad play, actually. We could get somebody like Higbee. If we have a look there, because they're against the Texans and they're just going to fly, aren't they? So having a look at here, look, so we've got Mixon, Moss. How much money have I got in the bank? 1.5 million. So I've got Mixon, Moss, Hurts, Johnson, AJ Brown, Chase, Goddard, and Higbee. I don't think that's that bad a team, personally. I don't usually go for 2 tight ends, but I feel like there's a lot in these wide receivers, and the running backs I'm not really loving this week. You need to be spending a lot of money on them. Now, for that extra 1.5 million, I think, could I upgrade Hurts if I wanted to? I could upgrade him to Stafford if I wanted to, which might be a play if you fancy that. If you don't like Hurts, you could get rid of Hurts and put Stafford in instead, which makes it look equally just as good. I quite like that team personally. I think that will work. Now, the other players I think could do quite well this week, but maybe are riskier plays. I do like Joe Burrow. I just worry that he might get benched in the fourth quarter if it is a blowout like I expect it to. Josh Allen's obviously fine. Running backs, Derrick Henry, if you want to spend the money, will do well. He'll do well every week. He's just an absolute beast, isn't he? Harrison Taylor, absolutely fine. Chubb, I've already spoken about, and Patterson as well. The thing I'd worry about with Patterson for 16.2 million, when you're putting him up there with Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb, is will he get as much volume as you want him to? And it's always a bit of a worry with him. Hubbard, I think, could do okay this week for 14.8 million. I don't think that's a bad shout at all. Herbert, I like because of the volume. And then it goes into some doldrums, really. And Moss, I just like as my enabler this week. Wide receivers, Kupp and Diggs, I think are absolutely fine. They're just obviously expensive. Ridley is going to have a blowout game at some point, but when it happens, God knows. And then it gets really bad really quick. Higgins, he is struggling a little bit this year, but for 13.4 million, if you wanted to go for him over Chase, that's absolutely fine. But I think you are getting your money's worth for that extra 4 million to get Chase. So, there you go. They are my team. Oh, actually, I should probably look at tight ends very quickly. Pitts is elite, so he's great. Hawkinson, I don't mind. That. To be honest, that whole top 5, I don't mind. Uzama, I think, had a great week last week. Will that continue? I'm not so sure. And then, again, it gets quite tricky as you go down. Sweeney is somebody people will look at because Dawson Knox is out. But the Bills do tend to play 4 wide receivers an awful lot, so I don't know whether he is somebody that's going to be getting the volume this week. Right, thank you so much for joining me again this week. Hopefully you finish in the money. I've been doing fairly well in these, and most of them have been finishing in the money. We've even had some top 10 finishes. So I wish you all the best of luck this week, and hopefully it all goes well, and we will, of course, be seeing you again next week. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye-bye.